Okay, Sinadapi. Oh my gosh. Welcome to Wellness Wednesday for Native Wellness Institute. And believe it or not, this is 142 weeks of the Power Hour. So welcome. I just got done with a dentist appointment at the Indian Health Service hospital. Today is going to be about self-care and how come Indians don't go to the hospital. Anyway, I was just thinking to myself, because we're supposed to practice what we preach. And so, I'm coming to you. I just want to acknowledge I'm actually in Browning, Montana. Browning, Montana, badass auntie in Browning, Montana. Under Okay, this is kind of interesting. I just welcome you to the Wellness Wednesday Power Hour. Um, we're in rural Montana, of course, and Nistu Nidaniko Makoyo Sokoyi. My government name is Theda NewBreast, and I lost a little. It looks like I'm back on. Woohoo! So, welcome to Wellness Wednesday with Native Wellness Institute, and this is 142 weeks that we've been bringing you the Power Hour. And as I said earlier, I thought the topic should be in our team. We've been doing a lot of self-care with 2023. It's the year of healing. It's the year of forgiveness. Oh my God. You got to forgive even all your exes. Even if they're from Gallup or Lodge Grass. You gotta forgive them. So it's the year of self-care. It's the year of transformation. And it's the year where, I was just we'll start off with family and family wellness. I was just in the Indian Health Service dental clinic. Yeah, and getting at least they aren't gonna pull. You know how like Indian dental places, we're just gonna pull your teeth. So anyway, it's not to that point yet, but trying to do preventive. But and pat yourself on the back, all of you. During the pandemic, we didn't get to go into the hospital. Number one, number two, we were just like in masks. I just took my mask off because we still wear a mask here. So let's do some qualifiers. I'm on a reservation where I have 5 vaccinations, the 2 original and 3 boosters. And everybody here is so funny. Indians are just crazy, man, because we're still driving around with the mask on. We got 5 shots and nobody's in the car. I mean, it's like, we get so used to, we have a habit. We just have a habit of putting on a mask. So we just put that mask on. And then, anyway, I just kind of drove around the parking lot with my mask on and no one in the car. And it was just like, no problem. So let's just talk about this self-care stuff, because I was just visiting with my relatives in there. We're just really happy. Like, one relative drove all the way from Great Falls, and that's like, a 2-hour drive. Like when you have an IHS hospital, let's just, whether it's in Gallup or whether it's in Billings or whether it's, there's you just have to drive a long ways. Luckily, I only had to drive 35 miles, and it's not too bad. I told these guys, I'm sweating to death. It's hot in here. I'm used to 25 Fahrenheit. Had to start taking off my coat and just laughing away. But what I love about Indian Health Service here is it's all our people. All of the dental hygienists are Blackfeet. The service unit director's Blackfeet. Most of the nurses are Blackfeet. Anyway, and then the white guys, white guys and white girls, we just adopt them, and then they're Blackfeet. When you adopt up this way, that means that you're truly your brother or sister. And so to be adopted by a tribe, and that doesn't mean all you fake ass Indians, I'm not going to adopt you. All you pretend Indians, hell no, I ain't adopting you. But you kind-hearted, good, loving, even-keeled, serenity, sober. I hope my dentist was sober. Because you know how, like, when they drink vodka and they're breathing on you and they're going, yeah, I quit drinking 5 years ago. Oh, bull do. Anyway, my dentist was sober. I think. No. So I'm at the IHS, just some IHS humor, because you know how it is. I just have to tell you, this is like, I'm so fired up. The badass auntie, I'm just so fired up because I got up this morning and I made a smudge, and I just, and it's like humbling. I just thought, Creator, I've been trying to call and get an appointment. Right at 8:00, you get a call, same day appointment. And it was like, I got up, did the prayers, even smudged my phone. I got off the smudge. It was smudging. Getting out the sweet grass, getting out the sweet pine, getting out the sage and the cedar. And I was smudging my phone to call the IHS to try to get a dental appointment. Anyway, in all seriousness, I do pray before everything. And I was dialing it, quick dial, the iPhone, just boom, boom, boom. And it started ringing, and I almost cried. I almost cried because I was like, oh my God, I might get an appointment. And then when a real person answered the phone, I was like, yoo-hoo! I was like so happy. Got the same day appointment. But we knew we had to do Wellness Wednesday today, so I was in there praying that I could get out here. So I'm out in the parking lot, and it's fine. So IHS humor. It's like, even though when everyone has a mask on, and the relative, I don't name names because you keep things confidential. The relative from Great Falls said, I saw you on Reservation Dogs. I said, oh yeah, what was I doing? What was I doing? What was I doing on there? So I just started laughing out loud. So then we got to have a conversation. And when it's men, because he's a man and a woman, I just always tease him. I go, well, how's your sex life? And you want to stun an Indian man? You want to knock the socks off? Ask him how his sex life is. Woohoo! No, anyway. That's healthy sexuality, just some humor going on here. But let's just, I see, I wish Gene could have got on here, but we would have to do a different link. Gene, tag him on. I love you. I didn't hear anything from the team, so our team, we're all spread out. Shoot, Levina's over in Coeur d'Alene. Jalene's way over there running around Portland, her and Shailene. We just have and of course Gene, you never know. Gene is like, I think he owns a plane. He's like, 1 minute I'm in Anchorage, 1 minute I'm in Juneau. Oh yeah, I'm downtown Tacoma. Tahoma. Anyway, Gene is out there, and of course, the rest of our indigenous 20-something, and Lori NewBreast, she snuck away. She's in the Bay Area somewhere, I think. And then anyway, let's just talk about this transition and self-care. I wanted to share some news with you, because that self-care in our siblings and our healing with our siblings. Today is a glorious day with one of my siblings. Her and her husband, they stayed home the entire time. She's an MD. And they're kind of semi-retired, but they had and we don't call it a bucket list. Indians don't call it a bucket list. That's kind of a white person's thing. We call it the happy list. So remember your happy list. So on their happy list was to go to Easter Island. So they're on Easter Island right now, and they don't have no Wi-Fi. They just barely got a message to one of our other siblings saying that they'll be without any Wi-Fi. They can't make phone calls. They can't get on Facebook. Whoa, that's taking a fast from social media until the 22nd. So they're kind of, and so I was telling her, I go, you know how we are. We always sleep somewhere, and all the spirits come and visit us, and they're on Easter Island with all those, whoa, woohoo, Easter Island with all the spirits out there. That is cool. So anyway, I'm just that's where my one sister is, and my, like I said, my other sister, she just finished writing and writing and writing, Google writing this, writing from 8 to sometimes it'd be midnight. She'd still be writing, but she finished and she just hopped on a plane and she's taking a break. I think that's so cool. So I just today in self-care, I know all of you, at the pandemic, we couldn't go into the hospitals, but it's so cool because everyone says, I'm going in, I'm getting a checkup, I'm giving them blood, I'm giving them urine, and the old jokes where they tell the Indian guy said, yeah, I wanted a urine sample, wanted a poop sample, and the wife told him, just give him your shorts. There's their sample. Anyway, anyway, so we're all going in, and in this transformation of self-care, and I'm just in a good mood, I guess, and I'm always in a good mood, even when things aren't too good. I just choose to be happy for the moment. So self-care. Whew. I always think about, and for I know Thosh and them do it, but I always love Sister Lavina. A lot of times tapping and getting real. One of the ones I always use when there's stress is just the massaging of the jaw and the relaxing of the jaw. Because whenever I get body work done, they say that we carry all of our stress right here. And even when you're really having like a anxiety attack, you can rub right here. So here I am. Uh-oh, all these Indians are looking at me. Say, what the hell is Theda doing in that truck? She's like, oh, she might be masturbating. She's like, whoa. Funny as heck. Anyway, this self-care, this self-regulation, this taking care of yourself. I know, I like to see the laughs because one of the things that has happened in this transformation is that we see the humor in it all. So so like when we all came, everyone said, did you get your mammogram? Did you get your mammogram? Did you get a pap and pelvic? Or lately, because we love our men, we're saying, how's your prostate? Have you got your prostate looked at? Or have you been smudging your scrotum? Anyway, everyone is coming in and they're getting their blood work done. They're seeing how their blood pressure is. They're getting all their examinations. But then, so we'll start with the self-care and humor. I just told one of the girls inside, I said, yeah, I was talking to a 17-year-old and we had this long discussion about on reservation dogs, why the aunties were smudging their vaginas. And then we had a discussion about how sacred manhood is, how sacred that prostrate is and how sacred that scrotum is. And I was just laughing. I said, yeah, you got to treat yourself better, smudge that scrotum, that scrotum just can't be like squirting around. Just don't be squirting here and squirting there and, making babies and never taking care of them. Woohoo! Don't make babies unless you can take care of them. There's the self-care advice. So anyway, in that discussion, we got to talk about how sacred men are. And that's why I wish Gene Tagabon was on here with me, because Gene, he's Uncle Gene. I always say he's a badass Uncle Gene, and giving advice to men to taking care of themselves, getting their checkups, getting all this preventive stuff. And that's why I'm doing it. I don't want them to pull all my teeth, but I want to have better health. I like to smile. But then as you get older, you have to realize you have to be real tender, real loving to your body. There has to be a lot of self-love, and self-love of sleeping good. I really slept good last night. I was so peaceful, and you're healing when you just peacefully have a peaceful day, and you peacefully go to sleep, and you're gonna have a good dream. I've been having dreams about, I guess most of you, Misinski is how you say badger in our language. For over a month, I've had this pet badger that's been coming to the back of my house, and just like I still have my pet foxes, and I was thinking I have a lot of animals that come around here, but this badger is, oh man, is teaching me so much. At night I turn out the lights and I just watch this badger, and I'm pretty sure that this Misinski is might be pregnant, because I'm going to look at the pictures from a month ago, and it's chosen to make and I'm not quite sure if it's under the deck, but it's nearby, and it's because it looks bigger and not bigger. And I thought, well, is it because it's old? But I think this badger's pregnant. So this morning I woke up and I thought, what if I wonder do badgers have like 8 babies, 2 babies, 3 babies? And I go, oh man, that's going to be so cute when I have a whole bunch of badgers. So, and then I think about, where we live, we call it Big Badger. It's one of our big rivers that comes out of the glaciers. We have Little Badger, and then we even have an Indian relay team called Badger. I mean, Badger. So I know in the creation stories, when there was a lot of medicine was being given, I know it was like the badgers and the skunk. They were advised to stay away from them because, and in the lesson, it was because they were so powerful. Because the skunk medicine's very powerful, and Misinski medicine is very powerful. So I thought, well, that's sounds like, the badass auntie needs to have badgers. Some people have little cats, some people have dogs, some people have horses, but shoot, the badass auntie has a badger for a pet. And then what if I have a bunch of babies? I'm not gonna let them go into the system. So I'm gonna take care of them. I'm not gonna neglect them. I'm not gonna abandon them. I'll play it by ear, but it's just my humor. I think I'll develop the Badger Protective Services so that no badger will be harmed. I mean, I was just thinking, so last night, as I was watching, and sometimes I'll be watching because it was the second time that the fox and the badger kind of had like a standoff, and they were looking at each other. And, when they have a standoff, it's kind of like, sometimes men do this. I don't see women do it so much. Women just fight. No. They just start going to it. No. Anyway, they were looking at each other. And then I saw the badger, and the badger's claws looked like grizzly bear claws. Just kind of went and lunged at like that, kind of scare the fox. And the fox is fast, and he sees that the badger's big. He probably could get away. And so anyway, they were doing that posturing, and I just watched them. And, of course, I don't want them to get hurt. But I noticed that the badger, not last night, but the night before, backed off. And that either means when you back off from that means you don't want to get hurt. That's why I think she's pregnant. Because when you're pregnant, you don't go out and get in a scrap. No scrapping when you're pregnant, right? Duh. So then I saw last night, because I had, this is just me and my tender heart. I had made some chow mein noodles, and I got some, I had a lot of elk, and so I cut up the elk, and I just put a little bit of garlic pepper in there and just a smidgen of butter. But I had made too much. And I thought, ooh, that pregnant badger, this will probably taste really good. And so then I put a little bit more butter in there, and that's what I put out. And oh man, that badger, they got this cool stripe. They got this stripe, and the badger just went over there, was eating some of that elk and eating that chow mein. And it made me feel happy that, if she's pregnant, she's getting some really good food right now. And anyway, when the food was out, and then they were posturing, there was the fox and there was the badger. And they were looking at each other, and then the fox looked at me, and I kind of said to the fox telepathically, I said, just let her eat. Let her eat. Sinapa. No gakimoka, naga na Misinski, let her eat. I think she's pregnant. And it's almost like I said that telepathically. So the fox just kind of backed up and waited and let her eat. So we're sitting there, and it was quite a while. The fox is watching her eat, and I'm watching her eat, and I'm thinking, oh, good, she'll eat. She's pregnant, and then she'll sleep good. And then she ate enough, and she went off, and then the fox came and ate. So what happened is they're sharing, they're working, I call it working it out. And so in self-care, rather than react and, get bitchy or blaming people or get after, calling them names, let's try to work it out as self-care, work it out. And they used to say in a program, they said it like, if someone irritates you, or sometimes they'll say, worst case enemy, but if someone irritates you, you're supposed to pray for them for 15 days. So think about that in the self-care. Like if someone, doesn't agree necessarily, that you actually pray for them for 15 days. And so are people that you're letting go. Because a lot in this transformation, I noticed a lot of people, some relationships have dissolved. Some relationships heightened and got better. Some people have decided to get married. After long, one couple I know decided to get married after being together for 25 years. Then I got some other relatives. They've been together 42 years, and they got traditionally married, but they wanted to get married again after 42 years because they realized how much they had learned and loved and had hard times and had children and all of these challenges. And so they just, after 42 years, they wanted to get married again. But then I was just thinking, so that kind of, that self-care of reevaluating your relationships and then deciding, which ones are healthy for you and which ones that maybe you need to let go. One piece of just badass anti-advice is just imagine all those people, and you put their name on a helium balloon, and they're just kind of surrounding you. You got and these are sometimes the unseen world. They're around you, and evaluate each balloon. And in your evaluation, ask if they give you as much as you give them. It's a simple self-care. Do they give you goodness? Do they give you humor? Do they give you a laugh? Do they check on you? Do they sincerely care for you? Do they love you? Do they, when they give you a hug, now that we can hug again, do they hug you a little bit longer and just say, I love you. You're my friend. I appreciate you. You're beautiful. You're awesome. You're a badass. That's why I've been hugging everyone, just telling them, man, we're alive. And, so take that person and evaluate, do they enhance me? Do they inspire me? Do they uplift me? And if they do, you keep that person in your life. But if they're always just bringing you down, like they might, Jolene always calls it, do they talk negatively? Or where they're just not, their energy is not good. And the people I've been letting go is the ones that suck my energy, because like, I don't know, yeah, I'm the badass auntie. I'm getting older and yeah, I accept it. But people who just want to uh, suck energy off me or get advice or get, like I'm supposed to fix them. I can fix some things, but I can't fix. You gotta be willing. You gotta have an internal desire to be better for wellness. And so then I've been evaluating that I don't need them in my life anymore. And you let that balloon go. You let that person go. But when you do that, when you're letting some balloons go, this is what you have to really pay attention to in self-care, is you have to make new friends. You have to go out and you have to visit. I visited with one little sister. She was half African American, and we got to talking about Black Indians, and we just had this great conversation. And she was an artist. She liked to throw clay. And so we exchanged information, and I know where she lives. She lives in Montana, and I might be going to visit there in the future. And I just thought that I'd like to make friends with that person because she loved her creativity. She loved being with other artists. There's an artist by the name of Half Moon coming to Helena that makes these giant sculptures. Anyway, I thought, I'd love to come down because she's gonna make some sculptures, and I hope that they're native sculptures, giant sculptures, because we got all these statues of, in America, but, like, I like a crazy horse. I like it in Montana. We should have a giant one of Earl Old Person. What if it was big as two trucks and it was Earl Old Person and you just kind of toured it around the reservation in Montana? That would be badass because Earl was a badass. All those 92 years that he lived, and he was our traditional chief, he always sang the songs, and no matter what, he gave people Indian names. He would tell stories. Earl was just a badass. And so I hope that artist, so meeting her, and I'm just saying it as an example because I said to her, I said, what kind of social media are you on? Because I always ask that question. And she goes, she said, I'm taking a fast from TikTok. And I go, oh, really? Talk more about that. And she said, I realized it was affecting my brain and how I was moving around and moving fast. And she said, and I didn't have the calmness. So she said, so January, I went off TikTok. And I go, well, what else do you do? What other kind of social? Or do you tweet? Is it Instagram? Or are you like Facebook? I said, I still do Facebook because all the Indians here are on Facebook. Anyway, it's just a thing, reservation. And she goes, no, I don't do Facebook, but I do Instagram. So then I said, let's be friends. So we're like here, we're talking face to face. And I go, is it okay if we shake hands and we be friends? Everybody else, man, those other ones that are stalking me, no. They, my friend, delete, no. Anyway, we just laughed, and I said, well, since we're going to be friends, let's see, what do we have in common? So we had this whole hour and a half of what we had in common, and we had a lot in common. And I go, yeah, we should be friends. And also, she was much younger, late 20s. And, I'm badass auntie. I'll be 67 April 20th. And so I said, well, I could be like your badass auntie. And I said, but what we connected on is that she really was talking to her African American unseen spirits. And because I asked her, I said, when you touch clay, when you touch the earth, when you're making something, how does it feel? Does she goes, I lose track of time when I'm molding stuff. She said, I lose track of time when I'm touching the dirt. And I go, but don't you think maybe that your African ancestors made clay, or they did stuff in the earth? I said, you're just getting in touch with your ancestral epigenetic badassness. She was like, I said, because when we start to do what our ancestors used to do, when we start to dress like our ancestors, when we start to harvest food like our ancestors, when we start to sing songs like our ancestors, when we start speaking our language like our ancestors, we just become badass. We're like ancestors in training. Anyway, her and I had this great talk, and so she's my new friend. So in those balloons, you might, when there's always May Tallow, one of our families. May Tallow was one of our tribe. May Natua Pisaki, Carol Murray, May Tallow. She always said, even, and she left during COVID. She'd always said, make new friends. When you live as long as I do, you got to make new friends, and you can't just be grieving, when you lose friends. If you just grieve and you lose your friends, you got to make new friends. Always make new friends. So one of the self-care things, just think about, just making new friends, and renewing friendships. Renewing, people that are important that you get a chance to go visit. And you know what, it's just about sitting down with a cup of tea, or if you're still into the coffee, do it. Just to sit down, and you know what, just say, hey, how you been? How are you doing? What stories do you have to share with these past 3 years? What kinds of things did you go through? And then listen. And shoot, I'll tell you, 3 or 4 hours later, after that kind of visit, it's like your heart grows. Your heart, it gets uplifted. It's like your ability to love. I swear, after all that grief, we got so many holes in our heart, aches and heart. When those cracks in that heart that's broken, you have the ability to love. And so go visit your friends. Like, it's okay, it's January, and yeah, it's winter here, but I was just thinking about my friends out in California that are getting flooded or removed, or just I'm gonna go out there with Aurora and the gang. We're going to the Two Spirit powwow, but before that, we're gonna have women's conference, and I'm going to listen to all their ideas. We're going to have a Native women's conference, and I was just suggesting, I said, we should call it Native Women She Said. Almost like that movie. That movie was incredible because it was about the journalists who exposed Weinstein, and once they exposed him, like 80 women came forward. And I said, because that's the Achilles heel in Indian country, is not talking and not sharing in a safe space. So we're going to have a conference where we're just going to do some education and have a giant talking circle so women can have a safe space to tell their story. And we're calling it She Said because we believe her. And we want to have resources so she can heal, that she can go on and love again and not have the fear that can happen when you're sexually assaulted or when you're raped, or the fear that you get when you're dealing with missing and murdered. Those kinds of things. We want to, on the other side of the coin, we want to do healing. So if you want to come to we'll be planning it. We're not quite sure. It'll be spring sometime. But I'm going to be out in the San Francisco Bay Area. I think I'm flying in around the 30th, and kind of be around. I'll be traveling with April Miguel, Sakui. That's all the urban programs in California, and Native American Health Center, the clinics. I hope to see some of Michelle Ma's out there, Michelle Antone. These are all Janet King's sisterhood and Red Lightning Sisters. So we're going to be planning a women's conference. But let's. I just kind of wanted to kind of check in with you. And Native Wellness Institute, we're doing half of our trainings Zoom, and then we're doing in person. And so our first in person is Healthy Relationships in Portland pretty soon. It's February 7, 8, 9. And you can go to our site. We're going to be doing in-person training of trainers. So it's like healing the healers. It's like going out and not only the romantic relationships, but your relationship with your family, with Ishtapatapi, Tinkashala, Mahio, Buddha, however you believe, your creator. It's relationships with forgiveness with your exes, especially if you made a child and you're co-parenting, those relationships. Because co-parenting, boy, you can make it good. Raise that child good. Let them see two healthy parents. They don't have to be together, but co-parenting is really a healthy relationship. Native Wellness is also allying with White Bison. Yay! Katari, Koyes, Al Pooley, Amy, his daughter, with Native Fatherhood and Families Association, and Native Dads Network. We're all coming together February 15th, 16th, and 17th in Mesa, Arizona. And so please, you can register for that. There is, if you want to look way ahead, where the Healing the Spirit Worldwide is in September 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 in Vancouver, British Columbia. They're expecting 30 countries of Indigenous to come together and talk about healing our spirits. Healing our spirits. Just imagine that. I've been to 6 of them, and that's where I started a big journey in 1992 at the first Healing the Spirit Worldwide. Cecilia Fire Thunder, Native Wellness was there. We went and we did. Oh, that Cecilia, she's so crazy. But anyway, that's going on. But there's so much happening in different regions. I was just in Red Lake. They're having a sobriety movement. 226 people got together on the res, and they're talking about sobriety. So I just, there's so much of 2023, and I was just saying to myself right now that as I check the time, is I want to kind of wind down and share with you. I've been doing this journaling of self-love for 100 days, and I'm about 50 days into it. And it's the first thing in the morning. I light a smudge, and I see what the lesson for today is. And like today's lesson was about nurturing your authentic self. And so a question, even in this self-care, what or who is your authentic self? And so then of course I was all bushy, I didn't have, I was kind of bushy. I was bushy and well, you know how we wake up in the morning. But I went for a walk, and man, the wind was blowing. It was 30 Fahrenheit, but I have my little fox hat. I put on my fox hat. I was wrapped up in fur and had good gloves on, and I was out there, and I just cried for happy. I just breathed in the mountain air. Just breathed it in, and I cried for happy, and I just started a thank you prayer, like a gratitude list. I just thank you, Creator, for the air. Thank you for the blue sky. Thank you for the clouds. Thank you for the clear water. Thank you for the snow that falls from Creator onto the earth. Thank you for the trees. Thank you for my little pregnant badger. Thank you for my fox. Thank you for my friends, because today's exciting. NWI's gonna our board's gonna have a meeting in a couple hours, and thank you for Jeline Joseph as our executive director. Thank you for Jean Tagabon for helping our men heal. Thank you for Lavina Louie. I just started going through all of our team. Thank you that my siblings could be out exploring the world. Thank you for that mountain. And then I'd look up at single shot. I started naming the mountains. Thank you. So it was thank you, thank you, thank you. Everything I looked at. Thank you for that little blue jay that flew by. Thank you for the magpie that flew by. Thank you for the eagle that flew by. Thank you for it was, there's no traffic. I was on a gravel road, in the snow. So I'm gonna wind down with that is go outside or be with your family, sit down and when you sit down at the table and thank all of them for being in your life. Just say thank you, thank you, thank you. And so with that, I'm gonna get back. I got my badass truck here, and I got some things to do and some Zooms to get on. But this is Wellness Wednesday. We're here every week. It's usually Uncle Gene and I, but other team members might be coming on. We just try to give you some inspiring words, and if you like this, let us know. Keep every Wednesday here. Oh, Concha Montana. Oh my gosh. I usually don't look at the comments, but hola. Hola. I almost said como te vu, speaking a different language. Como estás? Oh my gosh. So I'm going to sign off with that thank you note. And I'm just really glad that I came to the dentist. And I'm really glad that they're going to pull my teeth. I'm really glad that we have a plan. I mean, this is like crazy. I thank all of you that are watching. Native Wellness Institute, our mission is to keep the teaching of our ancestors alive. So we try to do that. You can go to www.nativewellness.com, see all of our Zoom, register for our Zoom trainings, register for our healing training with Ally White Bison, Native Dads Network, and Al Pooley's Native Fatherhood and Families Association. We're doing that because we don't want to compete. Who wants to compete? God dang it. Don't compete anymore. Just help each other. And so all you government people, remember that. We're not competing anymore. We're helping each other. So your tactics won't work anymore. But think about, who you can ally with in your families. Check on your siblings. Check on your elders. Go put flowers on the graves. I was just thinking about putting flowers around the people that we lost at the spot where they're at, or if they were cremated, at the spot, putting some flowers, putting out a little, even a little bit of food. Put out a red hot dog. I always put out a red hot dog for my auntie. Smudge it, and I put it out there. I go, Auntie, ooh, this red hot dog tastes good. Put out some food, just do things in appreciation of gratitude and of thankfulness. And with that, I think I'm going to sign off because I somehow I know you're out there and I believe in the energy. So this is Nistu Makoyo Sekoyi. And I did have a part in Reservation Dogs, but I wasn't acting because I am the badass auntie. I realize some actors are actors, but I'm just the badass auntie, just being who I am and just being with our NWI team, and we appreciate you. So until next Wednesday, Kitakito Matsuno and Kitsikakomen. Love you very much.